Joe Biden just put some money in your pocket. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about Joe Biden and the Congress and the pretty much incompetent politicians we have. And they actually did something that some people think is pretty good. So I'm going to break it down for you. Buckle up your seatbelt, get comfortable. We're going to get started on the Black Financial Channel right now. GMC. All right, guys. What's going on, guys? My name is Dr. Boyce Watkins. Welcome to the Black Financial Channel. This is theblackfinancialchannel.com. I am your friendly neighborhood finance professor. On the Black Financial Channel, we talk about Black wealth and Black economics every day, sometimes as much as 10 times a day, under one condition. The condition is that we are B1. B1 means Black first. Black first means that we put ourselves at the top of the priority list. Black first means that we solve our own problems before we solve the problems of anybody else. Black first means that we want our people to win. And so if you agree with that philosophy and you believe that being Black first is a good thing to be, then type a hashtag B and the number one in the chat, hashtag B1. What's up, everybody? Also on Instagram. My Instagram is Real Boyce Watkins, and I'm sitting here punching buttons because for some reason it's I can't see you all on the screen to see all your comments. But let me know if you can see me. Give me a yes in the chat if you can see me and you can hear me. Okay. I'm not able to manage my technology the way I want to. I don't know what the hell is going on here. But anyway, all right. So how many of you are aware? Give me a yes or no if you're aware that that Congress just passed this massive infrastructure bill tonight on November 5th. They literally just finally got this thing through, and they've been talking about this infrastructure package for a while. It's a pretty big deal. It's one of those things that is a game changer economically. It adds to the massive amount of spending that the government's already doing, so you should be very concerned about that. But they got it done. And with this infrastructure bill, you're talking about literally another $1 trillion going into the economy. And I'm going to open up CNN and try to read some of this for you. Hopefully they don't autoplay stupid videos like they did before where you're hearing all this background noise. But let me know if you can hear me okay. Give me a yes if you can hear me. Also hit the thumbs up button, share, subscribe button as well. All right, so it says here that Congress passed a $1.2 trillion infrastructure package Friday, approving a signature part of Joe Biden's economic agenda. It would deliver $550 billion in new federal investments in America's infrastructure over 5 years, touching everything from bridges and roads to the nation's...
On this vote, the yeas are 220.
They always do that. Why does CNN do that? I'm literally triggered right now. Forgive me. I am so triggered right now because every time I open CNN, they always autoplay a video and it pisses me off. Can y'all forgive me for getting a little bit triggered right now? I'm a little bit mad because you know you have 10 tabs open and then one of the tabs is like, bleh! Right? And you can't do anything because you don't know which tab is making all the noise, so you got to shut it all off. So I just got triggered from it. I just had a moment because it does it every damn time. But I'm going to read a little bit more. So let's woosah, calm down. That's my wife. My wife, she's a therapist. When she sees me get pissed off, she grabs my hand. She goes, "Come here, boys. Come here, boys. Look me in the eye." She talks to me like I'm Rain Man. You remember that movie Rain Man? I'm like, okay, hurry. And then she calms me down, and then I'm able to get back to it. All right. So let me get back to it. All right. I'm just being silly. All right. So basically it says that experts say the money is sorely needed to ensure safe travel, as well as the efficient transport of goods and produce across the country. The nation's infrastructure system earned a C- score from the American Society of Civil Engineers earlier this year. Democrats claim the bill pays for itself through a multitude of measures and without raising taxes. But the Congressional Budget Office brushed aside several of those pay-for provisions, ultimately finding that the bill would add $256 billion to the deficit over the next 10 years. It's significantly smaller than the $2.25 trillion proposal Biden unveiled in March, known as the American Jobs Plan. All right, so here's the deal. One of the big problems that you have in your country is that they just lie to you. They just love to lie to you. And anybody that is running around saying, "Oh yeah, this package is going to be paid for by tax increases, and we're going to go make Elon Musk pay half the bill, and Jeff Bezos is going to pay the other half, and we're going to tax the wealthy people and corporations," they don't do that. They don't do that. You know what they do? It reminds me of like the cousin who keeps borrowing money from you, and they get you to keep doubling down on them by swearing to you that if you just loan them money one more time, they're going to finally get that job that's going to let them pay you back, not just the money they owe you for that one time, but for they're going to pay you back for all the last 8 times that they borrowed money from you. But it never works. You know, you loan little Pookie another, $500 because he's going to get a new suit and finally get that job down at the Ford plant that's going to let him pay back everything, and he's going to finally get to that next level, and he never does, because Pookie's always going to be Pookie. Pookie ain't changing. Stop it. Y'all got Pookies in your family, and I bet you're investing in him, and you believe that he's going to change. He ain't changing. He won't change unless he decides he's going to change. So why do I bring that up? Well, our government is definitely like that cousin Pookie. They continuously come back to the American people and they say, let's raise the debt ceiling one more time, but we promise we'll increase taxes. We're going to pay it back. The deficit's going to go down, and it never does. The debt just goes higher. There was a time when we used to freak out about only having $10 trillion in debt. We hit $10 trillion. Everybody went crazy. That wasn't that long ago. Right now, the national debt is $28,945,099,990,000. And the number's moving so fast that it's literally going up about $1,000 a second. Scratch that. Maybe about $3,000 a second. I can't even say the whole number. I'm looking at usdebtclock.org. I can't even say the whole number because in the amount of time that it's taken me to make this sentence and to tell you how high the debt is, the national debt has gone up $100,000 in that amount of time. That's how crazy the numbers are, right? So this is just going to add to the debt level. The deficits are going to continuously get out of control. All the inflationary concerns are very real, and that's just what it is. Now, here's one thing that you want to think about, though. This is my 2 cents. I believe that that in the next few weeks you're going to see a boost in your stocks. You're going to see benefits where your stock prices are going to go up because corporations at the top of the pile always find a way to make the money. Now, this is not a Democrat statement. This is not a Republican statement. This is a black statement. So some people who are ignorant will say, you sound like a Republican or you sound like a Democrat. Fuck all that. Excuse my French. I'm not a Democrat. I'm not a Republican. I don't get into any of that stuff. That's for white people, in my view. I am black. That's it. And as a black man, what I am saying to black people, period, is make sure you are positioned economically so that you can benefit as these changes occur. Okay, that you are going to see money go into your pocket because you are properly positioned to benefit from this reality. This reality is that as America spends more money, that money goes to the corporations. In order to get a piece of that money, you want to be invested in those companies. Right now, the stock market has hit an all-time high, right? It went up another 250 points today or something like that. I don't know if it ended that high, but it hit as high as 300 points higher. And all the experts are saying the same thing, or similar things, that basically the market is perfect right now. They literally, all the economic headwinds are saying up, 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 up. It's a great market to be invested in. That's where the money's being made. Now, the reality of life is that you have a yin and a yang. So when money's being made over here, in many cases, that means money's being lost over here. When there's a big win over here, there's a big loss over here. So there's a big win for those of you who are getting past the BS and just consistently investing for your family. You're winning. Who's losing? Well, the people who are losing are the people who are not investing at all. The people who are losing are the ones who maybe for whatever reason they don't listen to people like us, like me or you, and they're trying to get ahead in the basic laborer sort of way. Like, I'm going to go to work, bring home my check. I don't want to learn how to invest. I just want to pay my bills or whatever. So at the same time, what's happening is that this inflation is very real. Inflation puts money into the pockets of the rich because it increases the prices of assets. Housing prices go up. Stock prices go up. The cost of food and gas and stuff like that goes up. But the only thing that doesn't go up is your wage. Your wage stays flat because labor unions don't have the power that they used to have. Now, this economy is shifting a little bit in the sense, and you saw that the jobs report was pretty good today. That boosted the stocks a little bit. But it's so you are seeing a little bit of power in the hands of laborers that you haven't seen for a long time because of the pandemic and the supply chain issues have sort of created this awkward environment where companies are having a hard time getting workers. That is a good thing. I want laborers to win. I want workers to win. I support workers' rights. And so right now, what you're having in the midst of the Great Resignation is that it's not as if everybody's quitting corporate America forever. What a lot of people are doing is they're simply hopping from one job to the next one, right? So they're leaving, they say, I don't want to work at Burger King because Wendy's is paying me 30% more than what you're paying me. And I think that's all a good thing. But if you want to know who's really winning, who's at the top of the food chain, it's investors. So keep investing. Now, some of you may have asked, like, what specific stocks are going to benefit from the infrastructure bill. Some might say a company like Caterpillar, right? Caterpillar does this industrial stuff, and they're gonna, end up, investing in these areas, or they're gonna end up doing work in these areas that are gonna receive some of that money. But honestly, I can't think of any right offhand. But what I will do is those of you who are in the Black Stock Market Club, where we meet every Tuesday. And I apologize, I couldn't meet you guys this week because we had the All Black National Convention, but I did meet a lot of you at the convention. And so we had to skip a week or two, actually 2 weeks. But next week we'll start again. And if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, theblackstockmarketprogram.com, you can find a list of stocks that I put together that I like for this week. Now, these are not just necessarily stocks connected to the infrastructure bill. I was thinking more earlier about things like the metaverse, right? So I threw in some stocks that link to the metaverse. I bought into some cryptos. One of them was Engine Coin, which is actually recommended to me at the convention, which, by the way, if you didn't go to the convention, just ask anybody who was there. They're going to, and let them give you an honest assessment. It's truly worth the trip. I promise you, it's so worth the trip. But I bought the Engine Coin and it kind of took off, and there was some other stuff. So there's some other cryptos I looked into. And now with this infrastructure thing, I'll put together another list of stocks. And if you log in at the blackstockmarketprogram.com, I will have the list available for you. But then also we can talk about that on Tuesday, and you can ask me questions, and I'll answer every single question of every single student in the class. Now, Erica says, Dr. Watkins, can you please talk more about real estate? Yes, not today. But basically, I am actually working with, there are a couple of 3 real estate people that I talk to that I want to talk more to over time. One is Julian Gordon. Julian Gordon's our Dean of Real Estate in the Black Business School. He's extremely good. He's actually working with some people to buy a big chunk of real estate in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. They're actually gentrifying a neighborhood, but they're doing Black gentrification, where Black people actually own the property. I actually have that on this shirt. Let me show you. Let me see. Am I wearing my Black gentrification shirt? Here we go. So my Black gentrification shirt basically says that we can pull our money, buy the whole damn block, and make it into whatever we want. So when you talk about gentrification, it's not just something that white people do to Black people. Gentrification can be something, and it doesn't have to be something where anybody's doing anything to anybody. It's not, there doesn't have to be a victim in gentrification. But if you talk about simply going into a community and buying the asset and then elevating the asset, there's nothing unethical about that, right? It's a matter of simply making sure you're prepared and thinking in terms of ownership. The reason gentrification has harmed Black people so badly is because we didn't really have an ownership culture, right? So we would live on this land and, claim these blocks and die, kill each other over, because you live on this block and I live on that block. But nobody's thinking, like, who actually owns the damn block? So if you don't own the block, then the landlord owns the block. And when the landlord owns the block, he can sell the block to somebody else. So Julian Gordon's actually buying a big chunk of real estate in Baton Rouge. Some other people, Stephanie DeBerry is a really great real estate agent. We have a lot of real estate people in the Black business. We have tons. Herb Strathers up in Detroit. He's actually, I read somewhere, I think he's one of the richest men in Detroit. I didn't know that, but he's done about $2 billion worth of real estate deals. We have a hotel investing mastermind group that's literally going through the country buying Black-owned hotels. They've done $4 billion worth of hotel investment deals. Another one is a brother out of Houston. Oh my goodness, I should have his name. I forgot his name though. But he's doing a great project in Houston. That's like, I want to say it looks like $100 million deal in Houston. Ah, God, I can't remember his name. I should remember his name because he's important. And then there's Jay Morrison in the Tulsa Fund. Well, I told you guys we have an office now. The Black Business School is an office in the Black House. So Dr. Alicia, she set up her coaching business down in Atlanta, and we're going to do a lot of stuff in Atlanta, like make movies and stuff like that. So we actually have an office in the Black House. And so there's a lot of great people we work with that I really respect, and real estate's a great area to look into. So do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button if you haven't done it yet. And also, in terms of some of the stuff going on with real estate, we have a big announcement coming up pretty soon. I'll tell you guys about it in a couple of days. The stock market class meets Tuesdays at 11 a.m. Eastern, and also the recordings are all available. So if you can't make the live class, the recordings are there. And also you can leave me questions. And if you say, hey, Boyce, what do you think about this stock? Or what do you think about this thing? And if I don't know a lot about it, I can literally research it and give you my 2 cents and break it down in terms of what I'm seeing. All right. So let me read a little bit more about this infrastructure bill. On CNN, they say the Democrats claim the bill pays for itself through a multitude of measures without raising taxes. That's BS. That's never true. Let's see here. Here's what's in the bill. There's funding for roads and bridges, about $110 billion for roads, bridges, and major infrastructure projects. That's a big deal because America's infrastructure is absolute garbage. You don't live in the greatest country in the world. Your country's falling apart for just so many reasons. You're not educating your kids. You're not taking care of the infrastructure itself. It's so many things. I could just go down the list in terms of why America's going to struggle. Where is the stock market class? If you go to the blackstockmarketprogram.com, THE, don't get the THE, the blackstockmarketprogram.com. All right, so let's see here. What else is in here? $40 billion, let's see, for bridge repair, replacement, and rehabilitation. The deal contains $16 billion for major projects that will be too large or complex for traditional funding programs, according to the White House. Some 20% or 173,000 miles of the nation's highways and major roads are in poor condition, as are 45,000 bridges, according to the White House. The investment would focus on climate change mitigation, resilience, equity, and safety for all users, including cyclists and pedestrians. Also in the package is $11 billion for transportation safety, including a program to help states and localities reduce crashes and fatalities. Okay, interesting. It contains $1 billion to reconnect communities, mainly disproportionately Black neighborhoods that were divided by highways and other infrastructure, according to the White House. That's interesting because in case you don't know, when they started building all of the freeways, they ran a lot of the freeways right through Black neighborhoods. So there were a lot of Black communities that were doing extremely well. They were very prosperous that were ruined because because white people would say, we don't want that freeway coming through our neighborhood. But so they would be like, okay, let's run it through the Black neighborhood. And they've done a lot of this stuff. Like if you look, for example, right now at Howard University, where they have the whole mold issue. The students are living in moldy dorms and then they're sleeping in front of the administration building. Nobody's paying attention. The president's acting like it's not happening. In fact, I think he blamed the students because they had to fire some of the staff that were working in the cafeteria, which I thought was atrocious. And then remember, they got all these famous faculty. The Ta-Nehisi Coates is there. Felicia Rashad is there. Nicole Hannah-Jones is there. She's always tweeting about all kinds of Democratic Party stuff, but doesn't, from what I understand, I haven't seen any tweets from Nicole Hannah-Jones about anything happening at Howard's campus. So there's sort of this veil of silence that they're forcing over the faculty. I don't know if they're just scared or what, but it's very peculiar because the people are speaking, right? And at Howard, you have a lot of alumni out here that are saying, yeah, when I went to Howard in the 80s, it was just like that. Or when I was there in 1997, it was like that, right? So it's not like you can pretend like it's not a real thing. So long story short, there's a lot of environmental racism that has occurred that affects Black people in ways that we don't even know. Like, for example, if there's a toxic waste dump or some factory that's spitting out unhealthy fumes, they'll put it in the Black neighborhood because they're like, well, the Black people don't care. They just want to have a place to live. So that, we'll put the factory that's spewing out, this cancer producing toxic waste. We're going to put it right in the Black neighborhood. Oh, the electrical wires that, will cause the kids to die from brain tumors later on. We'll just put it right in the Black neighborhoods. Right. So if you look in Black neighborhoods, you'll find that a lot of the garbage that white people would not tolerate, they do that to Black people because a lot of times people just don't know, right? The same thing. If you look at the types of things that they promote in Black communities, every study shows that they are more likely to promote unhealthy food, promote cigarettes, anything that kills people. That's profitable and addictive. They're going to promote it more disproportionately to Black people than to anybody else. And so that's why I encourage you to be real careful, because what's really fascinating to me is how they build the economy around creating the problem and then solving the problem they created. So I'm going to make money selling you Popeye's chicken. So you're going to eat a whole bunch of Popeye's chicken and your body will be full of grease and fat and you're going to be overweight and dying of a heart attack. Then I'm going to sell you pills and I'm going to tell you to go get my jab. To protect yourself from a virus that's going to kill you because you're fat. Or I'm going to basically sell you medication through big pharma that's going to fix the problem, right? Instead of actually doing the thing that I would do if I actually cared about you. If I care about you, I'm not going to create the problem and then solve it. If I care about you, I'm going to help you prevent the problem in the first place. That's the difference between, say, someone like Queen Afua, who was at the All Black National Convention, who was extraordinary, versus like a Dr. Fauci. Dr. Fauci, doesn't care, like what you were eating before or how you got to be unhealthy and how your immune system got to be so weak. He only cares about making sure that big pharma is selling you, the solution, right? And in terms of that, speaking of that, just talking about economics, I do believe that this pandemic is going to start to die down soon, just from what I'm seeing in the streets, we were down in Florida, we had the convention, a couple people had masks and we had masks available, hand sanitizer, all that. But it was like an afterthought. Like everybody was there acting normal, hugging, shaking hands, and I kept the sanitizer on my hands because I shook so many hands. I didn't want to pass anything in case I did catch something. So we are careful. We're not extremists in that regard, but but here's what I argue. I believe that because we dove headfirst into the pandemic and they didn't know what the hell was going on, they just threw all their resources at, okay, we got to get this jab, like figure out how we can, I can't say the V word, but we got to figure out a way to solve this problem once and for all. So Big Pharma jumps in, Moderna, all these companies start making all this money, pushing the jab. And of course, a reflection of the fact of the fact that they knew so little is the fact that the story kept changing, right? Because remember, a year ago, they said, if everybody gets a shot, they're going to be safe. It won't get passed. You're going to be okay. We're going to be fine. Then they were like, oh, actually, you can still catch it and you can still pass it. And you're not as safe as you were before. So the innovation is occurring where they're also realizing that there's some people who are just saying, I'm not going to do it no matter what. I don't care. Right. Fine. If there's a 0.2% chance that I'm going to die, then I'll take that 0.2% chance because I got a 99.8% chance of living. That is logical. There's nothing wrong with you if you come to that conclusion, right? You can come to that conclusion without having to be an anti-vaxxer or pretending like this stuff isn't real. We know that it's real. It's just, I don't think I'm going to get it. Or if I do get it, I think I'm going to be fine. I have 20 friends that got it. And they're like, I'm like, man, you got it? Whoa. And they're like, yeah, I had to quarantine. So what happened? Oh, I lost my sense of smell for about 2 days and I coughed a lot. And now I'm better. That's not, so for some people, that's not worth going and putting a foreign substance in your body. It's just, it's like getting insurance against, I don't know, it's like buying extra insurance in case you get struck by lightning. You can be struck by lightning, but that doesn't mean you need to spend money to insure yourself against a lightning strike. You could just say, you know what, I'll just take my chances. So anyway, here's what's happening now. Now, Pfizer, as you know, and this is a big stock price move. Pfizer just came out with that new pill that I actually like this because what this new pill does is it says, look, if you get it, come to the hospital. We got a new pill for you. We're going to make our bread by giving this pill to the doctors to help you overcome this virus if you catch it. I looked at the clinical study. See, I do something that a lot of people don't do. I look at the data. I look at the numbers. That's what my wife and I do. We're both professors. We're both researchers. So we want to look at the numbers. So in the study, they had 775 people in the study, something like that. Half of them got the pill. All of them had the virus, by the way. All of them had the virus. I'm not going to say the C word, but because it gets banned on YouTube. So all of them had the virus. Half of them got the pill. Half of them didn't get the pill, right? So pay attention now. This is interesting. In the group that got the pill, once they caught the virus, I think they said 1% of them went to the hospital. None of them died, right? Okay. And the other group that did not get anything, they got a placebo, right? Placebo is fake medicine, right? They didn't give them anything, no protection. I think maybe like 15% or something went to the hospital. It was some, number, it's 10%, 15%, something like that. And 7 died, right? So I said, okay, so worst case scenario, even if you had no medication, what you're saying to me is that out of the 340 or so who got nothing, 7 of them died. Well, that's if you take 307 and you divide it by 340, that is I want to say, is that 2%? I think that's 2%, right? So that would mean that 1 out of every 50 people who catch the virus will die. So 1 out of 50, it's a number, right? But it's not a dramatically frightening number. 1 out of 50 is not the same as 1 out of 3, right? Or 1 out of 7, right? Even if it was 1 out of 15, you would know that you're probably going to be okay. But there is that one person out of 15 who's going to be unlucky that day. But you have to be really unlucky to be that 1 out of 15. 1 out of 50 is a pretty big number. And the other thing is that person that is selected is probably old, and they probably already got some conditions in their body. So if you take out the unhealthy people and you take out everybody over the age of, say, 65 or 70, you probably have something more like 1 out of 100 or 1 out of 150. That is not enough to cause alarm. So what you're seeing right now, and this is important, I want to dig, I'm making a point here on this, that you're gonna see the country moving out of this pandemic. People are already moving past it. People are already acting normal. I know I talked to my wife. I said, yeah, this year, let's do Christmas normal. We going to the mall. We're going to go Christmas shopping. We're going to go see a movie in the movie theater. People have been afraid of movie theaters. I think all this is going to move the economic system forward. I believe that this is going to, a lot of these so-called recovery stocks, namely airlines and cruise ships, have a lot of upside left in them, because that's Christmas, I believe, is when all that demand is going to be pushed out. I've even seen little signs that even the big corporations are kind of letting go of this whole idea that this virus is going to kill everybody. They're just looking for an excuse to do what deep down they already know they want to do. They just can't say it. They're scared to be the first ones to say it. But Apple, if you saw, Apple just announced, if you come into our store, you ain't got to wear a mask no more. Right? Before, Apple, because they're more liberal, they were like, oh, we got to all wear the mask and blah, blah, blah. Now they're like, man, fuck that mask. That mask doesn't do anything. Right? And I'm hoping maybe at some point Los Angeles will start to become a normal place that you can actually travel without having to get the jab. I think that the emergence of this pill, what it's kind of done is it's given like another outlet to say, look, if you get it, it's not a death sentence. It probably won't kill you. And if it gets bad, you can go get this pill. This pill is very effective. The results were extremely good. And I remember when we were planning the convention, I felt that way from the beginning. I said, I'm not going to do this convention in New York. We were actually going to have the All Black National Convention at Medgar Evers College in New York City, in Brooklyn, because I love Brooklyn. We have a lot of great supporters in Brooklyn. And I said, I'm not going to Brooklyn because I don't want their fear to cause us to end up losing a couple $100,000 because they just somehow are afraid of something that isn't worth being afraid of. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't have concern, but you got to move forward, right? And I mean, and I think that's okay to do that. If that's what you've decided to do, there's nothing crazy about what you're doing. I support you. All right. So anyway, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up button, hit the thumbs up, share, subscribe button. One of the other things about the infrastructure bill is it's going to provide $39 billion to modernize public transit, according to the bill text. That's less than the $85 billion Biden initially wanted to invest in modernizing transit systems and would help them expand to meet rider demand. One of the problems with the United States that makes America just such an embarrassment, honestly, relative to the rest of the world, is that everybody else, if you go all around the globe, you'll find that a lot of people have really good bullet trains in place, and we don't have bullet trains or anything. We have those crappy Amtraks. If you saw last month, an Amtrak went off the tracks and flipped over and killed people and whatever, right? Amtrak is complete garbage. You go to China, they got the best damn bullet trains ever. Europe, beautiful bullet trains. Japan, the United States, we can't do that because we have, I guess, complex property rights and all these other issues that come up that make it difficult to set up a good railway system. So that'll be interesting. Now, I know Dr. Claude Anderson really wanted to actually make a proposal on a railway system that Black people would actually get to run. I feel like that was a long shot because I don't think the Biden administration has any respect for Black people at all. They haven't talked to Black people really that much since the election, honestly. All the people they were talking to when they were trying to get elected, they stopped speaking to them because they were like, okay, now we got what we need. We don't need you anymore. You know, just like a frat boy that shows up at a girl's house and he gets what he wants and then he doesn't call her anymore. But if you're stupid enough to keep on playing that game, then they're going to continue to use you in that way. And I've just made it clear, you're not going to use me. You know, you got to pay me in advance. And so I will never, ever vote Democrat again. I'm not voting Republican either. I don't have any reason to be a Republican. Like Republican, it's not like I'm jumping to another party. I'm just not jumping in at all. I just don't. It's why? Explain to me why, other than the fact that everybody else is doing it. I don't do things just because other people are doing it. That to me is the definition of extreme retardation. You literally have to be incredibly stupid to just do something just because other people are doing it and have no logical reason whatsoever. That if you know, when I see that kind of behavior, it says, oh, I get it. Now I know why a big chunk of your community is lost and failing and going to struggle for the rest of their lives, because they literally have the brains of chicken heads. Like they're not processing information. They're not reading the signals. The self-respect is at an all-time low. I'm speaking to the people who are not in that space, right? So no, I don't need to be convinced to not support the Democrats. I was convinced of that many years ago, all right? So it may take time for other people. I'm not judging you, and I didn't mean to call you retarded. I'm sorry, that was kind of mean. But I don't understand it. I admit I don't understand it. And by the way, some of you are asking where you can actually watch the All Black National Convention. Actually, we're doing the convention again digitally. We're bringing back every single panel and all the speakers and everything else. And also there's content that you can watch from the previous conventions. You go to allblackdigital.com, allblackdigital.com. That's where we're going to kind of keep the party going in terms of continuing what we started at the convention. Even the speed dating. I think Alicia wants to do digital speed dating. She's just trying to figure out the right way to set it up, maybe Zoom meetings or something. But she has so much fun with the speed dating component that she would like to do that. And I think what allows her to do it a little differently is she's going to bring in relationship therapists so that you can meet, greet, and treat people in the right way, right? So you meet the right person, you know how to discern, you know how to greet them in the right way, present yourself as your best self, and then also treat them the right way so that you can actually create something relevant and meaningful. We're not here to be like a Tinder app where you're just showing up and getting some ass. That's not what we're get all that. That's fine. But, we're really talking about bringing people together so that when you are in love with another human being, you're in love with somebody that can actually elevate your condition, not somebody that's going to distract you from your purpose by bringing a bunch of BS into your space. So the same way royalty only dates royalty, well, B1 people to me are like royalty. If you are royal, you can't be dating people who are not royal like you, because they're operating just on a completely different frequency. And so that's why we're doing speed dating, and it worked so well at the convention. We're just going to keep going, and it's going to be fun. All right. So anyway, that's it, guys. I'm going to get out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful night. It was great to talk to you. And I will be around later on the weekend. And also, of course, next week, we're going to actually have stock market class again. Is it too late to sign up for ABNC 2022? Yeah, the tickets were on sale for 3 days in a row. So after the last convention, we went ahead and did a super early bird for next year. And we let you buy tickets for next year if you wanted to get them. We had to shut that down because we couldn't leave it open forever. We left it open for an extra day. I'll let you know when they go back on sale. And based on what I saw in terms of that initial reaction, we sold out this year. We're going to have a bigger venue next year, but we're going to sell that venue out. I can already tell. We already sold 200 tickets or something, or 150 to 200 tickets, which I don't think we've ever sold that many a year before the convention, because we haven't picked the city, we haven't picked the dates or anything. But it's going to be either Dallas, Detroit, or Orlando. Sorry, Dallas, Detroit, or Charlotte, not Orlando. Dallas, Detroit, or Charlotte. And if I don't pick Dallas, Detroit, or Charlotte, I'm going to do something in all three of those cities at some point. So if you live in Detroit, We will be in the D at some point. Herb Strather is there. He's one of the faculty in the Black Business School. He's an awesome guy. We're going to do some stuff with him, and another brother, Kenneth Harris, Dr. Kenneth Harris, who runs the Black Business, I want to say the Black Business Coalition or Black Business Association or something like that, which you should look this guy up. He's super smart. And then down in Dallas, another great friend that I have down there is Tim Jackson, who's like, I think he's like the zoning commissioner or something. He does something in real estate that's really impressive. And so he invited us to come to Dallas. So I will take him up on that invitation. Charlotte, we just like Charlotte because Charlotte's like the new Atlanta, kind of like we just think Charlotte's really dope. So anyway, we will let you guys know where we're going to be and what the dates will be as soon as we can. Also, the other thing I want to implement is an affiliate scenario where if you want to sell tickets to your friends and get a percentage of that, we want to set up a system to let you do that. So it's because we want to encourage you to make the convention, and if you feel compelled, to make it into like a family reunion for yourself. Just get together with your cousins and stuff, and they can all kind of come to the convention and stuff like that. So the what's the website to join about learning? Well, if you want to learn about the convention, you can go to allblackdigital.com. That's where all the convention stuff will be. That's where the recordings will be and everything else. And also, if you're on Instagram, you can just click on the link in my bio. My Instagram is The Real Boyce Watkins, and there's a bunch of stuff in the bio. So I'm going to get out of here, guys. I hope you guys have a good day, and God bless you. And I will see you all very, very soon. So take care. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.